Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Radiant Tale, continuing Rady's route, probably going to get our ending. So we're not going to get our wedding, because we got it in the beginning. They bamboozled us by giving us a wedding right at the beginning. But we'll get our ending in this part at any rate. So, we climbed mountains, traversed valleys, and stopped in villages on our way to Arthur. Then, one particular night, I was staring at the ceiling as I lay in bed, waiting for sleep to whisk me away. Everyone else was fast asleep already. Only the chirp of insects kept me company. I can't sleep. We're getting close to the capital. Maybe that's why I'm nervous. I tried to force myself to go to sleep, but only ended up tossing and turning. Alas, dreamland never opened its gates. By the 10th time I rolled over, I decided to just get up. I slipped out of my tent. Wow, it's gorgeous. If I had to stare at something restlessly, I preferred the night sky over a boring ceiling. That's why I walked from my tent to a nearby meadow and plopped down. That reminds me, we all admired the stars the night before the original circus arrived in the capital, didn't we? On that last night of our travels as a team, everyone had talked about their dreams and goals for the future. Some of those dreams had borne fruit since then. Others were still a work in progress. I had no idea what I wanted to do back then, but now the happy memory was as vivid as if it had happened yesterday. An easy smile came to my lips as I lounged alone. But then, husband. There you are. You weren't in the tent, so I came looking. Didn't expect to find you out here, of all places. You're gonna catch a cold if you don't put on an extra layer. Relita. Relita appeared in front of me, an exasperated expression on his face. I know you're probably safe because we're near a big city, but going out alone at night's dangerous. There might be fiends. You're right. Sorry. I thought you were asleep. Did I wake you up? No, I didn't have much luck falling asleep either. I was actually considering pouring myself a nightcap, so you have good timing. Relita sat down beside me, a bottle of alcohol in one hand. We fell into an easy silence as we gazed at the curtain of stars above us. Hey, Relita, what do you think of our journey this time? Oh, where did that come from? Is this a surprise reflection session, 'cause we're nearing Arthur? There was a wry quirk on his lips, but he mulled over my question in earnest. I think it was a good journey. During the first tour, I was desperate to protect you. I was filled with incidents, like when you discovered my true identity. The second trip with Calivus was, well, I wasn't exactly me back then. Now I feel like I finally have the time and heart to fully focus on what's in front of me. Right? And unlike our previous trips, it's our first journey as husband and wife. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, sort of like our honeymoon, now that I think about it. How'd you like it, He spoke teasingly, and I smiled brightly at him. I had lots of fun, of course. Plus, I learned so many new things about you. I never really had the opportunity to get a glimpse of what you were like before we met, after all. Like the granny who stopped by, right? His hand caressed the bottle of alcohol, and his eyes wavered wistfully. I only met her a little while ago, and she already has a granddaughter. She aged in the blink of an eye. That was normal for me. Everyone was always living faster than me, a step ahead of me. I was always left behind. As a creation of Celius, Radia was once more or less immortal. Even Fae and dragons were only long-lived. No one else lived on endlessly, forcing him to go on alone. I'd only lived for a mere 18 years. Couldn't even fathom the solitude and loneliness he must have endured. Even so, that's no longer the case. You have me now. I'll be by your side, walking hand in hand with you from now on. I wanted to remind him that I was here for him, and I leaned against him gently. So, keep watching me. I'll continue to grow. Be with me. Watch me transform into a true adult. Yeah, of course. And hey, we can even drink liquor together one day. That sounds like a plan. Surprise flashed across his features at my casual agreement. Yeah, look at his face. But he regained his composure immediately and smiled brightly, his eyes warm. Oh, well, I never expected to hear that from you, of all people. Did I say something strange? No, you've always nagged me about not drinking too much is all. I still think you should drink in moderation, by the way. Your body is different from before. It worries me. I know it's a little weird saying this, but I want you to live a long life, Relita. Good point. Croaking because I'm unhealthy is simply out of the question as long as you're still in this world. I gotta admit that I'm a little jealous. You always look like you're having a blast when you're drinking. I prodded his bottle with a finger. A soft, pleasant sloshing sounded in response. Look forward to that day, then. Don't you worry. Time will pass by in a flash. You think so? There's still a few years before I'll be of drinking age, though. That's the same as our tours with circus. They took a long time, but looking back, it's like it all went by in the blink of an eye. That's what time is. Like, what even is time? Fucking weird is what it is. It's so long and yet so short. Yeah, I get that. The journey feels slow, but when you look back after reaching your goal, the beginning feels like just yesterday. Yep, that's why you should cherish the present, even if you can't drink yet. You can never turn back time after all. Yeah, I will. I wondered whether I would recall this day later on in life. Would I be drinking with Relita one day, fondly reminiscing on our memories, sharing smiles, and talking about how fun it had been? Yeah, one day when you're old, it'll be cute. Oh, I can't wait. Let's look forward to that day. For now, though, we should head back. It's getting colder out here. Besides, if I use you as my own personal heated blanket, I think I'll sleep like a baby. Sheesh. I stood with a wry smile. Relita had already started heading back to the tent when I called out to him. Hey, Relita, can I ask you one more thing? I'm curious. I have been since before we went on this journey, actually. Celius gave you the mission to obtain a heart. You've accomplished that, right? Pretty much, yeah. Me being alive and breathing is solid proof. Then, what's your dream now, Relita? I knew it was a tough question, despite having been the one who asked. It was no different from asking about his future life goals. To my surprise, Relita only blinked a couple of times before replying without hesitation. Oh, I haven't told you yet. My dream, goal, wish, they're all the same. I want you by my side smiling. That's my one and only life mission. How sweet. He spoke so nonchalantly, he might as well have been talking about the weather, but his words left me speechless. But that's not a dream for your own sake. Objection. Wanting to make someone happy is a perfectly respectable life goal, isn't it? Arlena looked up at the sky and reached out, palm faced upward as if to block the dazzling starlight. I'll always be there for you, especially while you're working so hard. I'm your biggest ally. No matter what happens, I will never relinquish this to anyone else. My wish will never change. I've lived 1,000 years, but this is the first life goal that I've truly chosen for myself. It's mine and mine alone. I see. Well then, it looks like I need to do my very best then too, huh? Oh, Jesus Christ, shut up. Stupid spam calls. You got this. I hope you work toward a big dream that's worthwhile for your #1 supporter, too. Sorry, Bird. I know, I had to turn it off because I don't want the phone ringing nonstop. Spam call. Don't you buy my headset? And you've already found a dream you want to chase, haven't you? It sounded like he was probing to take a peek into my mindset. I let out a small chuckle. You always see right through me, Relita. Well, yeah. I'm the one who's been by your side the longest, watching over you. He stroked my hair. The words flowed out of me in a stream, almost as if that had been my cue. At first I thought my dream was protecting Liebert for the rest of my life. But then I realized something when talking to Spiria. He may not be physically with me anymore, but his presence is in every nook and cranny of Liber. And that's why Liber's my very life itself now. Protecting Liber is Spiria's dream, not mine. Maybe one day my dream and Spiria's will be the same, but I feel like that isn't the case right now. That's why I began to wonder what was most important to me, what defined me. I slowly closed my eyes. If all dreams sprouted and took root from a memory you can never forget, Then I knew the exact moment that had changed me forever. After my parents were gone, I locked away my heart. I endured solitude for the longest time. Then you came and made me smile again. You kept me company. You made me laugh. You warmed my heart. Together we bloomed a flower of happiness. Relita had mentioned that his heart, his emotions, might have been responsible for the blooming chloris back then. I was positive that the two of us had bloomed that chloris together. So many people must have locked away their hearts after tragedies, just like Caliphus and I did. But someone reached out and dragged us out of our misery. We can face the world again. I want to do that for others. I want to bring smiles to their faces. I want them to be so happy they bloom their own chlorises. Or they bloom their own chloris. Whatever. And circus will allow you to do just that. Yeah. That's why I want to continue my journey even after this tour ends. I see. So that's the missing thing you discovered for yourself, huh? Mm-hmm. It took me a while, but I finally found it. Change might take time. But just like how you thawed my heart with that chloris, and how all of us together thawed Caliphus's heart, we'll pass on these feelings to others, and one day, those people might take up the mantle and spread smiles even farther. In the distant future, the world will be brimming with chloris in full bloom. I want to dedicate my life to that future, even if I won't be around to witness it. I poured out my heart to him. His gaze still fixed on me, Relita smiled warmly as he spoke. I know I've already told you this, but do what you want to do. Go where you want to go, and take all the time you need. I'll always be there for you no matter what, even if you take the most troublesome, winding path possible. Hey, calling it troublesome is mean. But I'm right, aren't I? You're not the type who picks the easy way out. Oh, and one more thing. This is something I want to accomplish at all costs as well. I didn't get to make a wish upon a shooting star when we were stargazing, so can I pray to you instead? Sure, I don't mind, but, just keep in mind that I'm not one of those all-powerful guys. Don't worry, this is a wish only you can fulfill. I let out a small chuckle. Then I turned to face him, clasped my hands in prayer, closed my eyes, and uttered my wish. Please allow me to help Relita bloom many chloris flowers. May his heart be filled with joy and happiness both now and in the future. He had brought me so much happiness, I wanted to give him lots of joy and many smiles in return. This was my dream. A dream that was privileged but humble, difficult but simple. I heard Relita's breath hitch. I felt him approach me and I lifted my face. Oh, look at our kissy CG. Oh, it's beautiful. A kiss so gentle it was like flower petals brushing against my skin and at my lips. I didn't have to wish for that. It's already come true. I'm happy just having you with me. He'd pulled away slightly, whispering so softly that his words were nearly lost on the wind, even at this distance. The next moment his lips met mine again. The kiss wasn't chaste this time, but heated and passionate. Really right out here in the grass? Sounds like fun. I was overcome by a peculiar sensation. My pulse raced, but at the same time I felt at peace. When I'd first discovered this form of his during our journey, I'd struggled to be open with him. It felt so foreign. But now, next to him was the safest place I could be. I felt reassured here. I could do anything so long as Relita was beside me. I felt I could chase anything that caught my interest, whatever I wanted to see, whatever I wanted to hear, whatever I wanted to learn. I could face my wishes and goals without worry and march forward without faltering. Because I knew that, no matter what happened, there was nothing to fear. I'm sure that since the very day I left Liber for our first tour, this feeling hasn't changed, I would assume. Yes, because it's all about Rady and what you feel for him hasn't changed. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Hasn't changed at all. I've been able to look forward because Relita was always with me without fail. Back then I'd been obsessed with Liber. I thought it was the place where my heart belonged. I knew better now. The emotions that welled up when I thought about how I didn't want to lose that place, they must be the same feelings I have now. I don't want to lose this warmth enveloping me. Many things had changed, like his appearance and our relationship, but there was one thing that had remained steadfast. The place where my heart belonged. The place where I called home. It had been here from the beginning. There was no doubt. Relita had said that he'd never relinquish his place at my side to anyone else. I felt the same. No one would take my place at his side. This feels like the end, but it feels like one of those ends that it's like they just add sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence. And it's like, are we going anywhere? Like, and then place by my side. And then there's this. And then there's this. And then there's, and it's like you, like, it just feels like they're trying to drag it out. And they feel like there's a more succinct way to have said all of this without 20 minutes of the same thing. You know what I mean? Like we were having a conversation, but then it's like, now we're getting, this is one of those, and if this isn't the end, it's like, oh dear God, they're going to do this when it gets to the end. Where it's just like it drags on for so long, you're like, there was like 82 places you could have ended this, and then you just keep going with more additional thoughts, and it's like word vomit. You know what I mean? Like you just wrote down everything and then you just put it all in. It's like, okay. I'll never ever leave him. I mean it. That's all the dopey smile. And then it's not even the end. It's not even the end, but like that was like so like an end. But you just went on and on and on and on, and then it's like, not the end, and you're like, oh dear God, if that's the way it is in the middle of this, wait till the end. It's going to be like, this is why Zephora's was perfect. We had a couple little moments. He said, I love you, and it just done, instead of like, and this is the place where I want to stay, by his side, blah, 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 and I know we can continue, and I'll continue to work on him, and then he'll continue to, and then blah, 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 and then you keep going on, and you're like, you had the perfect place to end it, and you didn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I mean, I kind of didn't think this was going to be the end, because I'm like, oh, we still got a little ways to go, you know what I mean? We'll probably go back to Arthur. There'll be a little bit of something, and then we'll do an end. But then they got to this point, and I'm like, this is so, like, the end type of, like, tangent they go on. And it's not even. So, like, when we get to the end, they're going to go on this whole fucking long-ass tangent again. Oh, dear God. Like, I would have, like, you could have, if you had to cut down that 10 minutes of all that, that's fine. You could have done it. I know the routes are short, but, like, I'd rather they be short and, like, work than, like, me sit here for 5 minutes like, oh, dear God, did we need to go on the tangent? Like, I don't know what it is. It didn't add anything, you know? It took me out of the whole moment. It was a beautiful moment, and you took me out of it. It's not dopey. I just promised myself that I'll fight anyone who tries to steal you away. In, like, 700 lines, but no less. They're making me swoon. Oh, there's the kiss again. Are we going to go through 700 lines? Once again, our lips met. His kiss was deeper, sweeter. It felt as if I was going to melt in his embrace. The familiar scent of alcohol filled the air, and the taste of it on my lips. I assumed alcohol was more bitter. Did liquor taste as unexpectedly sweet and gentle as this? No, it's mostly his kiss. Or did it seem that way because this was a kiss from the man I loved? I'm sure that I'll learn the answer soon enough. When that day arrived, Relita would still be with me, naturally. By then, we'd have made many new memories, too. Some people might consider that future mundane, but I thought it sounded blissful. My heart sung with anticipation. We did that long-ass tangent, had a moment, and now we're having a long-ass tangent. Oh my God. I love you, Relita. Me too. I love you. Now that's a good end, right there. Like, I mean, it's not even the end. I mean, I don't, like, if they had a beautiful little moment with the kiss and then it kept going, that's not my problem. My problem is the long-ass, almost like this is the romantic end, and we've just got to tie everything in this bow, and we're going to go on for 3 hours. And then it's not even the end, and you're like, why did we have to fill all of that? Was all unnecessary filler. Like, most of it was that you could have gotten a couple of lines to express what you wanted to without 20 minutes of unnecessary filler. Like, I'm just going to tell you, if the end does that same thing, I'm literally probably going to throw something. Because we've been through it once, I don't want to deal with it. I don't know what it is. It, like, takes me out, and it's, like, so frustrating. Zephora's route was perfect. It was like, you're in this moment, it's great, you're like hyped up, and then it's like done. Perfect ending. And like, I love Rady, so like I'm in the moment, and then okay, what are we why are we talking, like, what does this mean? Okay, are we ending? You're still ending? We're still going? Just like the end credits in a movie when you're waiting for the after credit scene, and it's like 16 hours, and you're like, oh dear God. You know what I mean? And that at least there's a purpose. There was no purpose to have of that. They could have tightened it up, is all I'm saying. Jesus. The original circus was the performance troupe which had first bloomed Flora and saved Prince Calivis. The second circus, us, were banded together thanks to the first accomplishments. Our tour around the Major Five had ended without incident, and we had returned to Arthur. Today marked the end of our journey. Indeed, our final performance would be here in Arthur today. Phew! The distant murmur of the crowd could be heard even backstage. Being in the city at the heart of the nation was no joke. Our audience's excitement was greater than it had been at any previous show. I could almost feel their heat against my skin as I looked at my crew. Ready, everyone?
I'm ready in body, but not so much in spirit. You've already performed so many times, Firo. I've only been on stage once. It's not something you always get used to. Plus, I'm super nervous today. I mean, how can I not be? Calivis is watching us.
He wants to be good for his bestie. Firo stole a peek at the audience and his future husband. Look, I'm shipping them so hard because we can't date Calivis in this when we're married to Rady, so I'm shipping them, okay? They're going to be best friends and then grow up and fall in love. But right now, they're best friends, and Firo just wants to impress his best friend. Their gazes met by chance, and Calivis waved cheerily at him. They're like so adorable little besties.
And now he's even more tense.
Don't forget your lines, Firo.
He's a goner.
You're so calm, Luna. It's hard to believe this is only your second show. Luna had performed before, but it was still her first time on the big stage, as far as I knew. Yet she looked as cool as a cucumber.
I'm used to the cheering in the arena, and my excitement at performing with the troupe I admire is stronger than my anxiety right now. And, well, seeing someone more nervous than myself actually makes me calmer.
Oh, I get ya. Just watching Firo's enough to help us keep our peace of mind. It's good to measure yourself against, like, hey, at least you're doing better than him.
This is discrimination! Discrimination, I say! I protest this treatment!
Well, everyone's less tense now thanks to you, so let's put it all behind us. We shared a smile before placing our hands one atop the other. Alrighty, that's about time we raise the curtain. Our whole troupe was almost completely new, but our cue to kick off our shows hadn't changed. We were circus after all. It's time to bring smiles to everyone's face. Let's start another phenomenal performance. It's showtime. Ready? It's showtime! That would also be a good place to end it. Nope. Okay. I was like, what's happening? It didn't click. Once upon a time, long before the founding of the first city, there lived a powerful yet lonely magician. Our show this time was a rerun performance of our second show in Arthur when Calivis had been on stage. Many of our current members had wanted to join circus after watching that specific show, and everyone had agreed with this new rendition. It sure is lonely being all by myself. Isn't there anyone I can talk to?
However, due to his immense and unrivaled power, everyone was afraid of him.
Since no one wants to chat, I guess I'll make my own friend.
Channeling as much mana as he could muster, he breathed life into a doll.
Oh my god. We're making Rady. There's Rady. Look! It's in football form! There you go. That's how I was born. It was a tale about the doll he made and how he spent his life learning about love. We had based the story on Relita's past back then, and now he's actually one of the actors. It feels a little peculiar. The story pressed on to the climax. Finally, it was the part where the doll, who'd met many people on his journey, came across the abandoned child who changed him for good.
She was like a lost lamb at first, refusing to open up to him. They gradually grew closer and closer like a real family. But one day, seeing how much the child had grown, the doll realized a tragic truth.
One day, he would have to watch her die. And thus the doll gained a wish for the first time. If there's any way to make it possible, I want to become human. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. The thing is they should have had one of the other members be Celius, not us. Because we're Celius and then we're ourselves, which is just stupid. We're playing all the roles. The doll's prayers were answered, and he finally turned human, and now we get to see Rady. Oh, I'm sorry, Relita Rady. During the first show, we'd ended things by saying that the former doll spent the rest of their short, blissful life with their family. But this time our performance had a slightly different ending.
And then the former doll decided to go on a journey with the child. Why, the child asked him? He replied,
"The magician who created me once told me to go see the world, experience many new things, and nurture a heart. I'd been oblivious to what he meant for a long time. Wow, I can't read. But after meeting her, I finally understand. I learned what love is." No, he didn't turn into like a human Rady, so. "The life of a human's filled with meetings and partings. By interacting with the hearts of many, a human changes, grows. I changed at the end of my journey, and I hope that at the places I travel to, I can help anyone, open a new door in their life, just like I did." Meeting with someone, connecting with someone would eventually turn into a fond memory, but even that would fade one day. A human's life was so fleeting. But sometimes one such life changed another's destiny. That was why we wanted to pass our stories on. I wanted to bring the stories of people Relita and I had met to everyone in the world. The great spirits had lived 1,000 years ago, but even now all of us knew their names, their tales. We could preserve stories that would otherwise be lost to time. And one day these torches we pass on might bring a warming light to someone else's story and spark a new flame, a new tale. That was a wonderful future I could dedicate my life to. "Hey, magician, are you watching me? I learned how to love someone just like you told me. I found my happiness. Thank you. Thank you for creating me. Thank you for giving me the chance to meet her." These weren't the words of the former doll. They were precious, meaningful words from Relita himself. And then... Your thanks are unnecessary. I knew that my research was either perfect or on its way to perfection after all. But all living things are flawed. That's what makes them so intriguing. I'll certainly continue watching your story until the very end. I remember the voice we gave. I'd never heard that voice before, but a single name came to mind. Was that Celius? Yeah. I felt as if I'd heard the merry voice of that great spirit echoing out from somewhere. Thunderous applause closed out our main event. The new performance by our cast ended in great success. Yeah, because you had Celius pop in there, ad-libbing. Damn. Of course, the flora bloomed without incident, and it was time for the finale. That's about time we head off, Spacey. Yeah. I prayed that our voices would still be heard far, far into the future. One day, I hope the world will still be in full bloom with the flowers known as smiles. Whispering that in my heart, I turned to face the deafening applause. We ran onto the stage together, hands intertwined, never to be apart again. Okay, that is also a good ending. I feel like that really should be the ending. There was 10 places this could have ended, but okay. I like that, doing the performance, doing that in time. But that is so you had that little we ran out on stage holding hands to be together. Perfect. You wrapped it up in a nice little short, simple bow. Okay, all I'm saying. you know? So, like, the scene, the little romantic scene where it's like it feels very endy because it just goes on and on and on and on and has a bunch of unnecessary filler, didn't need to be like that. But, like, the way it actually ended, it didn't go on and on. Like, we want to see smiles, and someday this, and someday that. Like, they sprinkled all the little thoughts in, like, okay, I want to see smiles bloom, and then blah, blah, blah. We're going to pass down these stories, and then they do a little thing, and then, like, they sprinkled it all in with actual, like, scene stuff, actual lines, actual bits of the performance, so that they could tie it up in a nice little bow at the end, and it was already, like, done. You know? Good. That's what I want for my endings. What the hell is that noise? What was that bird? Wait, Spacey, are you sure you haven't forgotten anything? Have you got your handkerchief, your wallet, your first aid kit, your amulet, and your other amulet? Oh, come on. That's the third time you asked. I'm ready. Everything's packed. We're going on our next journey. Okay, then you need another amulet, and... My goodness, how many amulets do you want her to bring? They offer all different sorts of protections. There are ones for health, work. I think that's enough, Rachel. It's about time you come to terms with reality. Seeing Dad in a panic, everyone flashed exasperated smiles at him. I love him so much. He should get, like, a fucking award for being, like, best anime dad. Like, seriously? He's so worried and caring and affectionate and just adorable and overly emotional. If you worry like this, your girl will too. She's not leaving forever, so send her off with your head held high. Yeah, you're making other people wait by detaining her like this. Sheesh, Rachel's the same as always, huh? I'm alright, don't worry. I placed a reassuring hand on Dad's shoulder before gazing at the carriage outside. Circus was departing our theater today to start our next tour. That meant it was also the day I had to bid a temporary farewell to my family. Squish. The squish was for the bird. Where's your first stop again? We're heading northwest first. We'll spend a month on visiting villages along the road before arriving at Orion's. After that, well, we'll decide when we get there. I do want to head to the island of dragons one day, if possible. Unlike our previous two tours, we weren't only stopping at the major five. King Begonia had taken Circus's achievements into account and had come to a decision. Chlora's bloom rates in major cities are important, but ignoring smaller settlements would defeat the point. I want Circus to visit as many villages as possible, investigate the local problems between performances. In other words, we would spend years at a time traveling all kinds of places around the world, starting today. Years at a time, Jesus. And that meant I won't return home for a long time. Ow, nasty bird. I stroked the familiar table and looked to the ceiling. Competing emotions welled despite my attempt to push them down. We won't be able to see Speria for a while, but we'll still see our parents because, like, they could know, like, oh, you're going to Orion's, and they could take a couple-day trip to go to Orion's to see your show. You know what I mean? Like, if they know what major city you're going to be in, they could always go. Everything's fine. My biggest ally placed his hand on my shoulder. Our family. This'll always be our home. No matter how long this tour turns out to be, that fact will never change, right? Yeah. Oh, yay. Last CG. I gave his hand a squeeze. I wasn't pulling on a tiny paw, nor was he holding the small hand of a child. Aw, he looks so endearingly beautiful. He always looks beautiful in all the CGs. As husband and wife, living at the same pace and walking side by side, Relita and I stepped toward the future together. Let's go, Relita. I hadn't been suddenly dragged into a tour to save the prince this time. This wasn't a journey to face a painful truth or a request by someone else. The path I would travel was one I'd chosen for myself, a path that would lead to my dream. Aw, everyone in the background is so cute! I looked back just once. I burned the image of the home I'd one day return to in my mind. What's wrong? Forget something after all. No, I'm fine. The only thing I mustn't forget is holding my hand after all. Of course. I can never forget you again, even if I tried. From now on, my home is wherever you are. make sure you remember that, no matter what. We shared a look and smiled. We're together forever. So few words held such weight. It was almost like a vow. I love seeing them in the background waving goodbye. It's so cute. Yeah, the two of us will be together forever and ever. Hold that thought. Now that I think about it, it might not be the two of us forever. What? That had come out of the blue. I tilted my head in confusion. Don't bring up kids or I'm leaving you here! A meaningful grin spread across his face before he dropped the bomb on me. Are you pregnant? By the time we come back to Earth here, we might have a new family member after all. I was really hoping they weren't going to do this. Because, like, we had the wedding in the beginning, so I was like, please don't tell me that the after scene is going to be like, look, we have a baby, because I fucking hate that. I hate it. It ruins it for me. I don't really love the implying it either, but, like, I can, like, oh, okay, all right, fine, but... huh? Huh? What are you so flustered about? We can't rule out that possibility, can we? Well, I mean, yeah, that might happen eventually. Good, she's like, whoa, 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 whoa. She's like, are you pregnant? I thought you were on birth control. Boy, weren't you taking the pill? What the fuck? Like, you know, because it's... We're going to flip that. He's the one that gets pregnant, and it's all his responsibility. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not responsible. Oh, if only we lived in that world. But if we don't visit home first, Dad'll definitely faint. And won't take any objections. We must come back at least once before there's a new family member. Huh. I guess we'll have to come back surprisingly soon, then. Huh? This was a small step forward, but I had faith it would eventually bring about change in this world. If not now, then in the far future. I was with the person I loved, so my big dream would come true. I was sure of it. That almost implies like he's like, I can tell you're already pregnant. You know what I mean? Wait, would we have our new tale together? If you are the type of person that really wants them to have families and you like the idea of the kids being shoved in your, like, you loved it, you like that, then you could absolutely read that as like, he's like, well, we'll have to come back pretty soon then, because, like, you're already pregnant. And you just like he can tell. Being sort of kind of a fey beast-ish kind of creature thing, you know? Yeah. But otherwise, if you're me, you're like, yeah, you keep hoping and praying. That ain't happening, sweetie. And on that glorious first page, the words we would leave were perfectly mundane and insignificant. Take care! We're off! I don't like the implying kids thing. That kind of like, that knocked a point off for me. I love rating. I like the route. I really did. It was good. I mean, aside from that point where you're like, is this the end? Because if it's not, why are we dragging this on? That's just me and my minor nitpicking. And I don't particularly like them forcing the idea of children on me. But we didn't have one, so it's okay. I can ignore that. But overall, good. Still not Zephora levels, okay. But Rady's CGs were amazing. They're always great. They know how to draw him beautiful. Right, okay, wait. All of them have 2 except for that one. Okay. Because this one is done bad. So I take a star off of this game for that. The fact that they use the A button like a back button, and that's stupid, and I hate that. That's sloppy coding. We do not like that. But, like, to start off our first CG as the wedding I like it. I like that. What I didn't necessarily love, it's not a bad thing, but it was like, you started off every other route by giving us the little backstory and the flashback scenario and, like, you know, a couple minutes of, like, blah, 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 this is what happened, and giving us flashback CGs. And you didn't do that with Radies, which was really weird and disjointing for the way the rest of the game flowed. You know what I mean? But I did like the change up, at least, of having, like, the wedding in the beginning. Like, that throws you off a little, because you're like, whoa, wait, what? We're getting the wedding in the beginning? When she's talking about her husband, I'm like, did we get married in the last game and I fucking forgot? What? Because, like, really seriously thought I forgot it. And then it was like we flashed back to here and I was like, okay, no. But they gave you the same amount of time on the wedding as they did. Okay. He looks really good in all of his CGs, except for maybe this one with his tongue hanging out because he looks ridiculous. So there you go. That's better. That actually makes him look like the sleepy love interest. Like, yeah, no, I'm like really tired all the time. You know what I mean? But yeah, I like that they changed up and had the wedding at the beginning. They gave you the same amount of time on it as they do if it's in the the end credit kind of thing. So because at first I was like, we had a wedding and that's it. We're just gonna mention it and move on. But they gave the same amount of time for it. So yeah, this is like fucking ridiculous. How fucking dare you? How dare you? Jesus. This is kind of up there. It's up. It's never gonna, nothing is ever gonna top that Genius CG, okay? Except maybe the Aless CGs, just because I'm so excited we got some. Okay. No, it's like the Genius CG is up there, then the Aless CGs are like tied for second place. But this is up there as like one of the like, goddamn, how would you, holy shit. I was like, look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. You know, I don't need to tell you what those are saying. Okay, I don't need, you know. Although this one's good too. Like that one's sexy, but the way he looks in this is so fucking beautiful. Like, I love the wedding CG, okay? But I think obviously the licking cream off your fingers is like, that's some fan service right there. That is hot. But this might be like how ridiculously sexy he is in this. This might be the hottest CG of him. Like, the other one was hot in a different way, like, oh, hi, damn, but this is like, god damn, you are so fucking handsome, and like, beautiful, what the fuck? Like, this might be the best he's ever looked in a CG. I can't remember the ones from the first game, but out of all of the ones in this one, this might be like, he looks the prettiest. Oddly, it's so strange, because this should be my favorite. It's up there, but like, he looks so goddamn good in this one. I don't know. The man in profile is perfect. Okay. And like, obviously, then we get our kiss CG. It's great. It's fine. But after the last one, like, no comparison. Still pretty, though. Like, we had a good time, though. We had a good time, didn't we? This one's really super cute, because I love seeing our parents and Spiria in the background. It's adorable. Like, aww. So cute. I really do. It's something like this one, I feel like for some reason just kind of slapped me in the face with how much I like the art in this game. Like this kind of art style is just so fucking pretty. Like, I don't know. But I seriously think this might be my favorite. It's strange. I know what we all thought. We were all taking bets, and we were gonna bet that licking cream off his finger would have been, but there is something about this CG. Look at that man's fucking face. Look at it. What the hell? It is a hard choice. I wish we could have both, because there is something about this that is so fucking ridiculously good. But like, I can't think any appropriate thoughts. But at least this one is like, oh, but then it's like pouty face is so good, but then his little smirk is beautiful. I like her face on this one. She's a little blushy and a little like, are you teasing me? Like, it's kind of cute. All right, we'll leave it with this one. That other one, I can't, good lord. But anyway, that was Rady's route. So now we just have Vilio, and then we'll do all the other little side story thingies in the, whatever it's called. Whatever they are. In the interlude stuff. That's it. Okay. But yeah, so. Damn, we're getting close. I mean, I don't know how long the interlude stories are going to take. It could take 1 or 2 parts to record them all. It could take like 5 parts. I don't know, but we're getting very close to the end of this game. This one was very short, which I don't hate. You know what I mean? I kind of like that. I mean, overall, if you think about it, you paid the same price as this for as a full game, but this took 1/3 of the amount of time to record. Like, we're not even on 30 parts. And most games take us like 80 parts. Take like 3 months to record. Okay, 6 months if we were doing every other day, but while we're doing every day, they take almost 3 fucking months. You know, and this one is like a month worth. So it's like a third of the gameplay in a way. It's going to be a little bit longer, obviously, because we'll have to do the interlude stuff, which, like I said, who knows how long it's going to take. But it's still almost, it's less than half the length of a normal game for the same price, which is kind of, if you think about it, kind of suckish. But I don't care because the enjoyment level is still there. And it's a fan disc, so you know it's going to be a little bit shorter. You know what you're getting into. I know you're not expecting a ton of plot or anything. And I like the floofy little after stories. I did think Ions had a little bit of a lag in that second chapter. It got a little boring. And I was like, is this how they're all going to go? Because, like, what the hell? And then there were definitely moments, especially like we saw in this one, like where it's like, okay, you kind of put some unnecessary filler in to kind of pad it out a little bit. But you really, like, if you took that out, it would have taken, like, what, 5-10 minutes off? Not a big deal. You know what I mean? So I think overall, in general, 98% good balance of, like, the fluff with a little bit of plot and everything like that. But, like, you know what I mean? And CG's A+, always. But we're not done yet. We still have to do Vilio and the interlude stuff. But, like, this is just my interpretation, my thoughts so far. Like, I've had fun doing it, and I kind of like the short little stories. You know what I mean? Because I don't feel like sometimes with longer games when you're getting into a route, you're like, okay, we're still going, it's getting boring, you know, but you don't have time to get bored in this one. Except for Ion's route, that one part, I was like, I'm kind of bored. In the second part, like, there was a lot of filler and talk about the Reformation, and it was giving me Color X Malice flashbacks when we were talking about my justice so much that I wanted to stab myself in the eye. But it was just that short window where it was like, and then it picked up and went and escalated, and it was like, okay. But everything else since then has been like a really good flow and a really good balance, and like, don't find myself bored, feel like it's got a good flow, feel like we're getting there, we get what we want, like. But it could just be my nostalgia boner for the first game. I really loved it a lot. I love these characters. So, like, of course I'm going to enjoy it as a fan disc. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But anyway, we will stare at this for a few minutes. Maybe we should end with this. It's so hard to choose. It's so hard. I almost wish they had 2 endings, but it makes sense that they don't. I'm glad that they don't. But see, but now we stared at this one for so long. But now I want to stare at this one. All right, so this one is the end one. So you won if that was it. We stared at the other one for so long that it felt like we kind of ended with it. So you got to look at that for so long, and now you can look at this one when we end. But anyway, we're going to do Vilio's route next, and then on to our interlude and wrapping it up. So winding down. Gonna have to start thinking about what we're doing next. I don't know. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.